When was the last time you experienced a moment without worry, not pretending to be strong, not smiling to cover the pain, but truly feeling light, present, and free? Many of us spend life waiting, putting happiness on hold, believing that one day, when everything is finally perfect, we'll let ourselves feel at peace. But that perfect day never really comes. Buddhist teachings remind us that peace isn't something we reach in the future. It's not about fixing every problem or controlling what's ahead. Peace is already here in this very moment, when we stop running, stop resisting, and simply return to what is happening now. If you feel tired of living inside your head, if you want to let go of constant worry and feel alive again, then these 7 lessons may be the gentle reminder your heart has been waiting for. Lesson 1. The present moment is the only safe place you'll ever find. One of the core truths in Buddhism is that real peace and real freedom exist only in the present. It may sound simple, but when this truth sinks in, it changes your life. The past is gone. It survives only in your memory. The future hasn't arrived. It lives only in your imagination. Yet worry pulls you away from now, dragging you into a world of what-ifs and maybes. It creates fears from nothing, paints worst-case pictures, and convinces you that danger is near, even when it's not. And because you keep replaying those fears in your mind, your body and emotions begin to react as if they're true, even though in reality, you are safe right here, right now. Worry makes you live in a future that doesn't exist, instead of experiencing the present that does. You're suffering through events that exist only in your mind. That's how powerful thoughts can be. They can rob you of the peace that's already here. But the moment you bring your awareness back to what is truly happening, your breath going in and out, the feeling of your feet on the ground, the sounds around you, something shifts. Your nervous system begins to calm down. Your chest feels lighter. Your thoughts slow because the present moment is not just an idea. It's a place, a refuge. It's the only space where life is actually happening. Everything else is just noise. And here's the most important part. Worry cannot survive when you're truly present. It feeds on imagination. It dies in reality. When you are fully grounded in the now, there is no space for fear about what hasn't happened yet. The mind may still try to pull you back into worry. It may whisper, "What if tomorrow brings bad news?" But you can learn to gently speak back to it, saying, "I don't need to solve tomorrow right now. Right now, I am safe. Right now, I am breathing." And that is enough. With practice, this return to the present becomes easier. It becomes your anchor, your home, your safest place to be. And the more you return, the more you realize you were never supposed to live in fear of the future. You were always meant to live in the freedom of now. Lesson 2. Acceptance is not giving up, it's giving yourself permission to breathe. Many people mistake acceptance for weakness. We think that if we accept something painful, it means we've stopped trying, that we've failed, or that we're giving up on change. But in Buddhism, acceptance has a very different meaning. It's not about helplessness. It's about releasing the heavy burden of trying to control everything around us. When you resist what life brings, whether it's a loss, a setback, a delay, or an unexpected problem, you create inner tension. And that tension becomes suffering. The struggle doesn't come from the event itself, but from the way your mind keeps fighting against it. Acceptance means looking at reality honestly and saying, "This is what's happening right now." It doesn't mean you approve of it. It doesn't mean you don't care. It simply means you stop pretending it isn't real. You stop pouring your energy into wishing things were different when, at this moment, they are not. And when you do that, something inside you softens. You let go of the tight grip. You stop fighting the current. You create space to breathe. And in that softening, you can finally breathe again. Think about how much mental and emotional pain comes not from the event itself, but from your resistance to it. A relationship ends, and instead of grieving, we ask why it happened, how it could have been avoided, whether it could still be fixed. We relive it again and again, as if we could rewrite the past by worrying hard enough. But we can't. And the more we resist what is, the more we suffer. Acceptance is the moment you stop arguing with reality and allow yourself to feel what you feel without judgment, without shame. That's when healing begins. This doesn't mean you stop trying to grow or improve your situation. It means you stop expecting life to match your plans in order for you to be at peace. You begin to realize that peace isn't the result of things going your way. Peace is what happens when you stop needing things to go your way. Acceptance creates space for clarity, for wise action, for rest. It frees up the energy that was trapped in the endless cycle of frustration and fear, and in that space you can move forward, not with anxiety, but with understanding, not with control, but with trust. Because you no longer need to win against life, you just need to walk with it. Lesson 3. Not every thought deserves your attention or belief. The human mind is an amazing tool, but it can also be noisy and overwhelming. Each day, thousands of thoughts pass through your mind. Some are useful, many are just repetitive, and far too many are rooted in fear, doubt, or insecurity. One of the essential lessons in Buddhism is this: you are not your thoughts. When you truly understand this, it can change your entire inner world. Just because a thought shows up doesn't mean it's true, and it certainly doesn't mean you must give it your full attention. Worry feeds on unchecked thoughts. It usually begins with a quiet question: what if something bad happens? And before you realize it, you're caught in a spiral of imagined problems. Anxiety builds. You feel unsafe and uncertain, not because of reality, but because your mind convinced you of a story that hasn't even happened. This is the danger of believing every thought that appears. It can drag you away from the present and into a world of fear, stress, and exhaustion. Buddhism uses a simple image. The mind is like the sky, and your thoughts are like clouds. Some clouds are light and beautiful, others are heavy and stormy, but none of them are permanent, and none of them define the sky. The sky remains vast and unchanged, no matter what clouds pass through it. In the same way, your true awareness is much deeper and calmer than the thoughts that come and go. When you start observing your thoughts instead of getting caught in them, you develop mindfulness. You begin to see thoughts for what they really are: temporary events in the mind, not solid truths. So when your mind says, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't handle this," or "everything is going to collapse," you don't need to panic or fight. You can pause, take a breath, and remind yourself, this is just a thought. It's not a fact. I don't have to believe it. That simple awareness can stop the cycle before it begins. With practice, you create space between yourself and your thoughts. You no longer feel trapped by every fear that appears. You begin to experience freedom, not because your mind is completely quiet, but because you no longer follow every story it tells. The more you practice, the more peace you discover. Thoughts will still come, but they won't control you in the same way. You'll notice them, let them pass, and return to the calm awareness within you. This is the power of mindfulness. It trains you to live with presence instead of reacting to everything your mind creates. It helps you stop being pulled in every direction by your thoughts. And once you find this inner stillness, worry loses its grip. You become steady, clear, and calm. Not because life is without problems, but because your mind no longer needs to be. 4. Impermanence means your fear cannot last forever. One of the most profound and freeing teachings in Buddhism is the truth of impermanence, the understanding that everything in this life is constantly changing. Nothing remains the same. People grow, emotions shift, situations evolve. Just like the seasons, every experience, good or bad, will pass. And yet, when fear or anxiety takes hold, it often feels permanent. It feels like it will stay forever, like it has taken over your entire reality. But the truth is, no matter how overwhelming the fear may seem, it will pass. It always does. Think back to the moments in your past when you felt lost, anxious, heartbroken, or uncertain. At the time, those feelings might have seemed unbearable, but here you are. You survived them. You made it through. And now those same experiences live only in memory. That alone proves something powerful. Emotions, no matter how intense, are temporary. Even the deepest pain has a lifespan. And once you start seeing emotions this way, especially worry and fear, you stop identifying with them. You stop saying, "I am anxious," and instead begin to understand, "I am experiencing anxiety." And like everything else, it will pass. When you forget impermanence, you panic. You feel like things will always be this hard, this uncertain, this painful. But when you remember it, you create space between you and your suffering. You no longer see it as something that defines your existence, but as something that is visiting for a while and will eventually leave. This is not just a comforting idea. It's a spiritual truth that is reflected in nature, in life, and in every experience we go through. The storm doesn't stay, the night always gives way to dawn, and even the heaviest emotions lighten with time. This understanding also helps you approach your emotions with more patience and gentleness. You stop trying to rush healing or force yourself to feel better. Instead, you learn to sit with your discomfort without fearing it. You let it move through you like a wave, rising, peaking, and eventually receding. You learn to breathe with it, not fight against it. You trust the process because now you know with complete certainty that you are not stuck. You are simply in a temporary moment of difficulty. And that moment, like all others, is already passing. So when worry shows up, when your chest tightens and your mind begins spinning stories about what might go wrong, take a step back, place your hand over your heart. Remind yourself gently, this is only a moment, it will not last. I have survived so many before, and I will move through this too. That simple reminder, spoken with awareness and care, can bring incredible peace to your inner world. Because when you stop fearing your fear and you start trusting the nature of impermanence, you unlock a kind of inner calm that no storm can shake. 5. Let go of control that was never your burden to carry. One of the greatest sources of worry in life comes from the illusion of control, the belief that if we think hard enough, plan far enough, or try long enough, we can make everything go exactly as we want. We tell ourselves that if we just stay alert, we can prevent bad things from happening, avoid pain, and keep everything and everyone in perfect order. But this belief, while understandable, is a heavy burden to carry, because no matter how hard you try, there will always be things beyond your control, other people's choices, unexpected events, shifting circumstances, and even your own emotions at times. Trying to control everything doesn't bring peace. It creates anxiety. It builds a life based on fear, not freedom. Buddhism teaches us a different way. It encourages us to act with intention and wisdom, but without clinging to the outcome. This means you do your best in every situation. You show up fully. You give your energy to what matters. You respond with mindfulness. But then you release the rest. You trust that the river of life will carry you where you need to go, even if the path looks different than you imagined. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering over what isn't yours to control. It's not weakness. It's maturity. It's strength of a different kind. The kind that comes from knowing that peace is more important than perfection. Think about how many nights you've stayed awake replaying conversations, stressing over decisions you can't undo, or fearing outcomes that haven't even happened. All that energy, all that tension, and yet nothing changed except your exhaustion. The truth is, the future is not something you can fully shape with worry. It's shaped by presence, action, and trust. And when you realize that, you can begin to release your grip. You can breathe again. You can walk more lightly through your life. Letting go of control also means surrendering the idea that you must be perfect in order for things to work out. It means accepting that mistakes will happen, plans will shift, and uncertainty is part of the journey. But instead of resisting that truth, you begin to make peace with it. You start trusting that life has its own intelligence, that there's a deeper order behind what appears to be chaos, and that trust becomes your anchor in times of change. You don't need to figure everything out right now. You don't need to have all the answers. What you need is to return to yourself again and again and ask, am I doing my part with presence and care? If the answer is yes, then let the rest unfold. Give life room to breathe. Give people room to be who they are, and give yourself permission to not know everything. The freedom that comes from letting go is not the kind that floats above life. It's the kind that sinks deeper into it. It's the kind that allows you to show up with more love, more clarity, and more peace, because your energy is no longer wasted trying to control what was never yours to begin with. Lesson 6. Speak gently to the voice inside you that worries. Almost everyone has an inner voice that worries, doubts, and prepares for the worst. It often appears in quiet moments when you sit alone with your thoughts, or when the future feels uncertain. It whispers questions like, can you really handle this? Or what if everything goes wrong? This voice isn't cruel on purpose. It doesn't mean to harm you. In its own way, it believes it's protecting you. It tries to prepare you for possible pain, loss, or disappointment. But over time, that same voice becomes tiring. Instead of protecting you, it keeps you on edge, always alert, always tense. It drains your peace and steals away your joy. Buddhism teaches compassion not only toward others, but toward yourself, and especially toward the parts of you that are scared. Instead of fighting this inner voice or silencing it through force or frustration, the more healing approach is to meet it with kindness and understanding, just like you would comfort a frightened child who doesn't understand the world yet. You can begin to speak to your inner self with calm reassurance. You can say, I know you're afraid. I know you're trying to keep me safe, but we are okay right now. We don't need to panic. We're just going to breathe and take one step at a time. When you shift from judgment to compassion, something powerful happens inside. That fearful voice no longer needs to scream to be heard. It softens. It begins to trust you. Because for most people, their inner voice is loud, not because it's strong, but because it feels ignored and unseen. When you acknowledge it with kindness instead of anger, when you sit with your fear instead of pushing it away, you create space for peace. You build a relationship with yourself that is based on trust, not control. This doesn't mean you indulge every fear or let anxiety take over. It means you learn to be present with it. Like a calm teacher helping a worried student, you stop asking, why am I like this? And start saying, it's okay to feel this way and I can still move forward. That shift is the essence of Buddhist self-compassion, meeting your inner world with mindfulness and mercy instead of shame and resistance. And over time, as you continue this practice, the inner voice that once filled you with fear becomes quieter. Not because the world has changed, but because your relationship to your own mind has healed. You've become your own safe space. You've learned that you don't need to fight yourself to grow. You need to hold yourself through the growing, and that kind of gentleness isn't weakness. It's the deepest form of strength. Because when you can sit beside your own fear without running from it, you are no longer controlled by it. You are free. 7. Joy is not a reward for a perfect life. It is a practice you can begin today. Many people live their entire lives believing that happiness is something they must earn. They tell themselves, "I'll be happy when things calm down," or "I'll finally feel joy once everything is in order, once I'm successful, once I've fixed all the problems." But that day rarely comes, because the truth is, there will always be something unfinished. There will always be uncertainty, imperfections, and shifting circumstances. If you wait for life to become perfect before you allow yourself to feel happiness, you will wait forever. Buddhism gently teaches that joy is not something you stumble upon by accident. It is not something that comes only to the lucky or the peaceful. It is a daily practice, a conscious return to the present moment, a decision to embrace life as it is rather than as you wish it to be. True joy is not loud or dramatic. It doesn't always look like excitement or celebration. Sometimes joy is as simple as pausing to feel the warmth of sunlight on your skin, hearing the wind move through the trees, sipping a cup of tea in silence, or noticing the way your chest rises and falls with each breath. These are the quiet doors through which happiness enters, not because your life is perfect, but because you finally chose to be present with it. One of the great shifts in Buddhist understanding is realizing that you don't need to fix everything in your life in order to feel peace. You don't have to keep believing that happiness belongs to the future. You don't need every single fear to vanish before you can smile. You don't need all the answers before you can feel at peace. You don't need every scar to heal before you can laugh again. Joy lives here in this very moment. And when you allow yourself to feel it, even while life is still imperfect, something powerful begins to shift. You start to take your strength back. Practicing joy is about teaching your mind to notice the good, even during difficult times. It's about choosing gratitude, even when life isn't perfect. It's about softening, enjoying the little things, being gentle with yourself, and honoring the moments that bring you calm. With time, this becomes more than a practice. It becomes a way of living. The worries that once felt heavy and endless begin to fade, not because you forced them away, but because your mind has discovered a new way to focus, a new way to see. You start to understand that life doesn't need to be perfect to be meaningful. That love can still fill your heart even when not everything is solved. And that often the truest joy doesn't come from doing, but simply from being fully awake, present and open to what this moment holds. When you begin to welcome joy in this gentle, steady way, day after day, you realize happiness was never gone. It was always here, waiting for you to pause and notice. And in that simple noticing, everything changes. You begin to live, not out of fear, not out of the need to control, but from a place of quiet gratitude.